Together, growing in faith, changing communities.
Together, growing in faith. My dear brothers and sisters, today I would like us to reflect on the Gospel of Mark, chapter 16, verse 15 to verse 20. What I find absolutely amazing is that Mark is the first evangelist who writes the story about Jesus' life. And he writes a very summarized story. And because his work is so summarized, one is made to argue and to believe that whatever word that he uses it with a great intention. He doesn't have the luxury of playing with words. He has to say something and be as concise as possible, because he knows in his mind this gospel needs to reach the ends of the world before the end of the world. And if you can keep that at the background of this reflection, then Mark has every meaning that he puts into the words. And so let's go then in chapter 16, verse 15. At that time, Jesus, appearing to the 11, he said to them, "Go into the world and preach the gospel to the whole creation." I find it important that the author or the commentator tells us that Jesus, having died and resurrected, he does not appear to the 12. He appears only to the 11. Because by now, Judas Iscariot has walked away from the 12. He has walked away from the pack. But Jesus continues to search for the 11. And if you go into the Gospel of Mark, Jesus dies a lonely death. The apostles are terrified. The disciples do not get it. He asks them, "How long must I be with you till you understand? What is it that I need to do for you in order for you to know what you are supposed to be doing? What is your vision? What is your goal? What is your purpose in life?" And so when he comes back to this community, he comes into a community that is feeling a little bit depressed. He's coming to a community that feels depleted, that feels that they have failed, not only God, but also themselves. And that's something powerful for me. That God is able to come to me. I may be feeling absolutely terrible. I may be feeling that I'm not worthy. I may know that I have failed. But it still comes. I come not for the wealthy. I come not for those who are well. I come for the poorest. I come for those who are sick. And it is important to realize that all of us are poor. All of us are sick. One way or the other, we have been hurt. And there are moments where we feel inadequate in ourselves. There are moments when things just don't make up. There are moments when we do not know what else to do. The center does not hold. So much is expected. There are moments when we feel exhausted, emotionally drained, spiritually dead. And he comes to us. He says, I'm searching for you. That is an important thing for me. The other thing that I also find absolutely important is that he still gives them his mission. He says, go into the world. But Lord, why should I go into the world? I have failed. Why do you still trust me? I am a disaster. And he says, I still believe in you. And that's something absolutely amazing. It's a second point. Jesus believes in you. Individually. He does not believe in you because you are great. He does not believe in you because you are holy. He does not believe in you because you've mastered it. No. But there's something inside of you. There's something within you that Jesus believes in. There's also something which is important to me. What are they doing as they go into the world? He says, go and preach. For those who are following us on our YouTube channel, Ngcobo Official, we are doing Bible study in English on Monday, in IsiZulu on Fridays, and after 6. I've looked at chapter 3, and there is a very important verse in chapter 3. It's Mark chapter 3, verse 14. And I'm asking you when you get home to please read that. Jesus goes up to the mountain, he prays, then he goes to the disciples, and out of the disciples he chooses the 12. And there are 3 important phrases or verbs. He chooses them, number 1, to be with him. Number 2, to give them power and authority over every sickness, every demon. Number 3, to preach the good news. And so when Jesus resurrects, and when Jesus ascends into heaven, he wants to remind them of the original plan. The goal has not changed. The how may change. The vision is the same. The how do I achieve the vision may change. I still need to be with Jesus. I still need to preach the good news. I am still given, empowered by the power over unclean spirits and over every disease. And sometimes we feel that we have failed and God has taken away the gifts he has given us. He has not. He still imparts those gifts to us. He still invites us to work with him in our homes, in our families, with our children, with ourselves. The other thing that also speaks to me, having said all these things and given them all the signs, then Jesus was taken up into heaven, where he sat at the right hand of God. But the apostles continued to go out to preach everywhere, and the Lord worked with them. My dear brothers and sisters, today we are celebrating the ascension Sunday. It is God who goes up. He's already told us that he still believes in us. He's already told us that he wants us to do that which he had already given us, and he's already assured us he's not taking away any gift he has given us. He's going up to God the Father. What message, what plea, what request do you have for him? As he's taken up to heaven, what are you asking God for? As we wait for the Holy Spirit next week, what are you praying for? For yourself, for your loved ones, your children, your family, your spouse, your career. How can God help you? May the Virgin Mother of God continue to be with us, to protect, to bless, and to guide us, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.